LeBron James isn't going to have a sequel to The Decision. It's more like The Indecision. USC basketball adds another player as the transfer portal closes today. And Walker Buehler might be packing his bags for a return to LA. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is May 1st, 2024. The rent is due in the sanctum sanctorum of LA sports, and that is why I'm always traveling for work. We've added a new subscriber to the Angeleno Familia yesterday, by the way. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. And if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Arizona 4, Dodgers 3. The game was delayed 2 hours by bees in the stadium. Bees. Will Smith drove in a run. Dodgers still lead the West by 4 games. The less said, the better. Meanwhile, today, Dallas is at the Clippers in Game 5 of the first round of the NBA playoffs. That game tips off at 7. Series is tied 2-2, and Kawhi Leonard has already been ruled out for LA. The Dodgers are still in Arizona. Hopefully, it'll be a bee-free experience. The game's at 6:40. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is 2-1 with a 3.54 ERA. Zach Gallen, 3-2 with a 3.38 ERA, and the Kings are at Edmonton at 7. This is Game 5 in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the Kings season is already on the line. Edmonton leads 3-1. So let's get to the news. LeBron James said what was all too easy to predict yesterday, that he's not certain about his future with the Lakers. He's already been here for 6 years, won a title, and look, what I'm going to tell you about this whole thing is, I don't believe any of us should be particularly worried about it. Because this is going to be dragged out for 2 months. He doesn't have to make a decision for 2 months. But what do we know? We know 2 things. One, that if he was so hyped to leave Los Angeles, he would have accepted the call from the Golden State Warriors at the trade deadline. The Lakers said, hey, go ahead, talk to LeBron. LeBron told him to pound sand. So why would he go? There are possibilities that he could go, but we know one thing. He already shot down Golden State at the trade deadline. The other thing we know is this. The scribes love clickbait. Scribe-induced trauma is what this is. You're going to read a lot of stories. There are already stories online. CBS Sports already is trying to predict, where's LeBron going to next? So, no, I don't think any of us should be particularly worried right now. Look, when LeBron left Cleveland the first time, if you recall that clip, he's storming off after a playoff loss in Boston. He rips off his Cavaliers jersey, throws it away. It was all big histrionic drama. There was no such drama this time. Now, don't get me wrong. LeBron James is still a game player. He's still a bit of a manipulator, an influence peddler. He just does it with more nuance now. I'm not into predictions through body language. All I'm saying is he probably recognizes that he has 2 months to decide. He probably already knows what he wants. He's probably already going to tell the Lakers what he wants. And the Lakers are going to sit there and go, oh, you want your son to play with you? Okay, fine. We'll waste our first round pick on a 6'2" guard. Yeah, we'll do that. Sure. You want Darvin Ham fired? Okay, we'll do that. I'm not saying he wants Darvin Ham fired. I'm saying, what player do you want, LeBron? We'll do our best. There you go. He'll tell the Lakers what he wants in addition to the automatic max contract. So I'm not going to spend 2 months of my life sweating it. I had viewers tell me yesterday that Darvin Ham has lost the confidence of the players. So because of that, I reread all of the Lakers season obituaries to double check my work. I don't want to sit there and tell you that everything I say on this channel is right, that it's gospel, that it's holy writ, okay? But Ham did say something that would have bothered me a little bit. He told ESPN, quote, "If you're coaching a team and one of your starters is like 10 games in a row just pooping the bed, what are you going to do?" Unquote. And by the way, he did not say pooping. But we are left wondering which starter was left with the leaky colostomy bag. We know it's not LeBron. Anthony Davis has been known to take a game or two off, but we're pretty confident it's not him. Possibly D'Angelo Russell. But Ham was doing nothing but praising the guy out all throughout the second half of the year. So that leaves Taurean Prince and Austin Reeves. People are using that quote as a way to say that the players don't like Darvin Ham. But if you're Prince or Reeves, you do not have, "Oh, fire the coach because it got in my feels" level of juice. I don't think that's strong enough. They might get rid of Ham. I doubt it, but I don't think there's a strong enough rationale yet. Meanwhile, over at USC, power forward Terrence Williams II has decided to come over to the West Coast from Michigan basketball. That boosts the Trojans to 11 players on the roster. Now, Williams started for the Wolverines. He sank about 40% of his three-point attempts last year, but Michigan sucked. You thought UCLA and USC had an off season? Michigan was the hottest of garbage. He is the 10th newcomer to USC since the departure of Andy Enfield, which led to a binging and purging of the Trojans roster, an exodus vomit, if you will, that Eric Musselman had to clean up. By the way, the transfer portal closes today. USC has 2 scholarships available. They don't have to use them in the portal. So for the most part, what you see is what you get. CBSSports.com released a tiered list, by the way, of NBA draft prospects and claimed that Isaiah Collier, formerly of USC, is a fringe lottery pick. They also listed Boogie Ellis and Bronny James as potential round 2 picks. In what might be his last rehab start, Walker Buehler allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings with 5 strikeouts and no walks for AAA Oklahoma City on Tuesday. Meaning this might be the move. This might be the time for him to finally leave the manure pit and come back to civilization. Welcome back, Walker. Welcome back. Walker last pitched for the Dodgers in June 2022, and if you recall back then, they were considering him to be the heir apparent to Clayton Kershaw as the ace of the staff. Only he underwent a second Tommy John surgery that summer, so that would make you feel below average. The money that was taken from the Dodgers' Shohei Ohtani, stolen, allegedly, was apparently funneled through casinos. This is a big story that was being told by ESPN. You could look at that story in 2 ways. Money funneled through the casinos. On the one hand, duh. And on the other hand, duh. Thank you for telling us something anybody could have predicted, ESPN. Relief pitcher Ryan Brazier was placed on the 15-day injured list with a right calf strain. Gus Varland was called up from Oklahoma City as a result. And Dave Roberts told the Scribes that Jason Hayward has yet to ramp up activities for a rehab start, let alone a return. I'm not sure the Dodgers want to rush him. Andy Pages went into last night hitting .296, so he slid in quite well. We mentioned the USC players who are possible NBA draft candidates. ESPN believes Bona is labeled, they labeled him as a fringe first-round pick. But let's be real. With 7 players coming into UCLA's basketball program, it is far more interesting to wonder about their immediate future, right? I can only give you what I hope are estimated guesses about their starting lineup, which is going to be significantly better than what was thrown out there last year. I think the only person from last year's starting lineup who has his spot assured is Dylan Andrews at guard. I think Kobe Johnson, who played last year for USC, will be starting at forward. But then you ask yourself, who plays enough defense to satisfy Coach Mick Cronin? I think because of that William Kyle of South Dakota State, who is known for rim protection, will beat out Ade Mara for center. Mara's had his shot. Maybe he developed some sort of a spurt in terms of capability over the summer. But right now they know what they're going to get in Kyle. I think he's their starting center. I think if Sky Clark from Louisville plays any defense whatsoever, he beats out incumbent Sebastian Mack for shooting guard. Wouldn't you? If you saw UCLA last year, Mack was a matador out there, letting people go right by him. Olay. I mean, I'm just saying it's Clark's job to lose. But that leaves one forward spot. And for that, I got to tell you, I have no idea. Maybe Lazar Stefanovic keeps his job, but he will face competition from transfers Eric Daly Jr. and Tyler Bilodeau. So, again, I think that's a lot more interesting to talk about than whether or not Bona goes to the G League. Staying over in Westwood, we have discussed at length about how Deshaun Foster wants the Bruins football to embrace Los Angeles and vice versa. Chip Kelly was the opposite. He was about as personable as that one-armed hug that you get from a girl that secretly wishes you would stop hitting on her. How does that translate? Embracing Los Angeles, aside from fans hopefully coming to the Rose Bowl in the fall. Well, in recruiting, only Clemson has offered fewer scholarships during Kelly's 6-year run. Clemson was the only school to offer fewer scholarships. Now, with Deshaun Foster, the Bruins are seriously reaching out at recruits. I'm assuming this is while Kelly is over at the local Topgolf. Under Foster, UCLA football has offered scholarships to more than 70 high schoolers in the class of 2025. So he's getting to work here. Now, having said that, good with the bad, Foster's prediction that UCLA would stop hemorrhaging players looks extremely premature. We already knew he lost a couple of guys. Last year's starting left tackle, Bruno Fina, has entered the transfer portal. The writing may have been on the wall in the spring game. Fina was moved from tackle to right guard. Now, having said that, I don't know how major of a loss this is. Does it hurt in depth? Absolutely. But the Bruins' offensive line last year was one of the worst in terms of pass protection in a college game. So maybe there's a reason you're not protecting the quarterback's blind side in UCLA anymore. As for former Bruins, Colin Schlee, the quarterback, landed at Virginia Tech. Yesterday, we recapped what CBS considered to be the best, worst, and most interesting draft picks for the Rams. They also did so for the AFC. So as for the Chargers, and I totally agree with this, the best pick is running back Kimani Vidal of Troy. He's not fast, but he looks exactly what Michigan would have wanted in a running back while Jim Harbaugh coached there. Someone who's going to run like hell between the tackles. Now, considering the Chargers running back room is looking a little haggard, Vidal is a dark horse to be a feature back. The worst was defensive lineman Justin Eboigbe of Alabama. Whatevs. The interesting one is wide receiver Ladd McConkey in the second round. I don't see why he's interesting. I don't. What's interesting to me is the Chargers didn't pay more attention to wide receiver, not who they drafted. Subtleties, semantics. The Bolts have exercised the fifth-year option on tackle Rashawn Slater's contract. It's expected. He's also eligible for a contract extension this season. Overall, the Chargers have 40 new players on a roster of 88. Now, I took the liberty of going through some of the post-draft depth charts, and if you're looking for surprises, scribes think linebacker Junior Colson is going to be an immediate starter over Dion Henley, because the belief is that he knows the new defense so well that he can even call the plays. So you may as well put him out there. A second, albeit much more minor surprise, is first-round draft pick tackle Joe Alt already entering the starting lineup. The Rams have signed former Eagles running back Boston Scott. He was a backup and special teamer in Philadelphia. There's no reason to believe he's getting a promotion here. There are multiple articles examining what the Rams depth chart looks like after the draft, and the upshot is this. Historically speaking, they are holistically speaking, they are deeper on the offensive line. The top two picks, which would be defensive end Jared Verse and defensive tackle Braden Fisk, they're going to start. Maybe Jordan Whittingham can out-battle Ben Skowronek for a backup receiver role. And oh yeah, they may have solved their kicker issues once and for all. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Are you going to panic over LeBron James? Are you okay with the status of USC or UCLA basketball? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.